When things feel scary, that is the exact moment that you are supposed to move forward. Not when it feels safe, not when everybody understands, not when the path is clear. When your chest gets tight, when your mind starts creating excuses, when your body begs for you to stay comfortable. That is the moment. Because if you don't move when things feel scary, you will stay in exactly the same place. And on the other side of fear is greatness. Most people are not stuck because they lack talent. They are stuck because they keep waiting for fear to disappear. To disappear before they get hustling. But fear does not disappear first. You move first. The confidence comes after. The clarity comes after. The greatness comes after. On the other side of fear is greatness. Let's take Muhammad Ali. In 1967, Ali was not some washed fighter trying to make a political statement for attention. He was the heavyweight champion of the world. He was young, rich, famous, and in his physical prime. Then he refused induction into the US Army during the Vietnam War because of his religious beliefs and moral opposition to the war. The cost was immediate. He was stripped of his title, suspended from boxing, convicted of draft evasion, sentenced to 5 years in prison, and fined $10,000. His conviction was eventually overturned by the US Supreme Court in 1971. That is not comfortable. That is not convenient. That was not easy branding. That was a man standing at the edge of fear with everything to lose. His money was on the line. His career was on the line. His freedom was on the line. His legacy was on the line. And most men would have folded, because it's easy to be brave when consequences are imaginary. It is easy to talk principles when your lifestyle is untouched. It is easy to say I stand on business when business is not standing on your throat. But Ali had to decide, do I keep the belt and lose myself, or do I lose the belt and keep my soul? That is fear. Yet he moved anyway, because on the other side of fear is greatness. Ali is considered the greatest not just because of what he did in the ring, but because of what he accomplished outside of it. Ali lost years of his athletic prime, years he could have used to dominate boxing, years he could have used to stack more money, more wins, more glory. But what did he gain? He became more than a boxer. He became a symbol. The Smithsonian's National Museum says Ali practiced greatness not only in training gear, but in living a life dedicated to making the world a better place. That is the point. Fear offered him comfort, fear offered him approval, fear offered him a quiet life, but greatness demanded movement. So let me bring it back to you. What are you protecting? A job you hate? A relationship that weakens you? A city that suffocates you? A circle that laughs at your ambitions because they are terrified of their own? You keep saying, I'm waiting for the right time. No. You are waiting for fear to give you permission. And fear will never give you permission. Fear is there to enslave you. You have to move while your hands are shaking, because on the other side of that fear is greatness. Let's take Katherine Johnson as another example. She became one of the mathematical minds behind America's early space missions. She was a black woman walking into institutions that were not built for her. NASA says Johnson was one of 3 black students selected to integrate West Virginia's graduate schools. Later, she worked at NACA and NASA while facing both segregation and gender bias. Progressing from human-computer work to critical trajectory and spacecraft calculations. Understand what that means. She was not just solving equations, she was solving equations in rooms where people questioned whether she belonged in the room, whether she even belonged to have the same freedom as them. NASA records that when Johnson was told women did not attend briefings or meetings, she asked if there was a law against it. There was not, so she attended anyway. Over time, she became a leader, and the same men who judged her began relying on her. That is cold, that is composed, and that is elite level movement. Because fear would have told her, don't ask, don't challenge, don't embarrass yourself, don't make them uncomfortable. Just be grateful that you are here. But Katherine Johnson understood something most people never learn. If you accept every invisible boundary, your life will be built by people who never intended for you to rise. All she asked was one question: is there a law against it? And when the answer was no, she moved. That is how greatness works. It does not always roar. Sometimes greatness speaks calmly in rooms that expected your silence. NASA later credited her mathematical work with helping put American astronauts into space and ultimately on the moon. John Glenn, the first American to orbit Earth, trusted her calculations enough to say that if she said the numbers were good, he was ready to go. Think about that. The same type of woman they tried to keep out of the room became the woman they trusted to check the numbers before a man orbited the planet. That is not luck, that is not comfort. That is what happens when you move through fear. On the other side of fear is greatness. And some of you know exactly what this feels like. You are not scared because you're weak. You are scared because the next version of yourself, the next version of your life, requires you to stop acting small. You're scared to start the channel, scared to launch the business, scared to leave the relationship, scared to walk to the gym, scared to speak in the meeting, scared to become visible. But the problem is, every time you appear fear, you train yourself to stay the same. You shrink once, then twice, then 5 years go by and you call it being realistic. No, you are not being realistic. You are being ruled. And a king cannot be ruled by fear. On the other side of fear is greatness. Now let's take Misty Copeland. Ballet is one of the most unforgiving art forms on earth. Every line, every movement, every inch of your body gets judged. And for a black woman in a classical ballet, the judgment is not just technical. It is cultural, it is racial, it is aesthetic. Misty Copeland came from a different childhood and started ballet late, at 13. She went on to become the first African American woman promoted to principal dancer at American Ballet Theatre in its 75-year history. But before the history, there was fear. Time reported that Copeland had concerns about being judged on her appearance and doubts about being accepted in the classical ballet world. Despite those fears, her career flourished, and she shifted from seeking acceptance to influencing change in the industry. That is the transformation. At first you fear the room, then you enter the room, then you master the room, then you transform the room. That is greatness. Misty could have looked at ballet and said, they don't want bodies like mine. They don't celebrate women like me. They don't see black girls as the standard. And she would not have been delusional for seeing the obstacle. But seeing the obstacle is not the same as bowing to it. Fear shows you the game. Discipline opens it. Excellence kicks it off its hinges. On the other side of fear is greatness. And this is the part that most people miss. Fear is not always a warning to stop. Sometimes fear is proof that you are approaching something meaningful. You don't feel fear over things you don't care about. You feel fear when your future is asking for a decision. That business scares you because it could change your life. The conversation scares you because it could free you. That sacrifice scares you because it could separate you from the weaker version of yourself. So when things feel scary, stop automatically assuming you are in danger. Sometimes you are just at the border of your next level. So on the other side of fear is greatness. The scared man says, what if I fail? The dangerous man says, what if staying here is the real failure? The scared man will say, what will people think? But a dangerous man will say, what will I think of myself if I never try? The scared man will say, I need more time. The dangerous man says, time is what fear has been stealing from me. Because fear does not just take your courage. It takes your years, it takes your body, it takes your money, it takes your voice, it takes your ambition and turns it into a joke. You watch other people become who you were supposed to become because they moved while you were still negotiating with your anxiety. No more. On the other side of fear is greatness. Muhammad Ali had to risk being hated. Katherine Johnson had to risk being excluded. Misty Copeland had to risk being rejected. Different worlds, same principle. They moved when things felt scary, and that is why you must become excellent. Not because they had no fear, because they refused to let fear become their master. So whatever you are avoiding, look at it clearly. Don't dramatize it. Don't run from it. Don't pretend it doesn't exist. Name it, face it, and move past it. Send the message, make the call, start the training, record the video, build the skill, walk into the room, ask the question, but take the goddamn risk. Because your life will not transform while you're waiting to feel fearless. You don't become great by escaping fear, you become great by moving through it. And when you move through it enough times, something happens. Your identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone who needs perfect conditions. You stop needing everybody to clap before you begin. You stop asking fear for permission to become powerful. You become the kind of person who understands that fear is not a wall. Fear is a door. And the other side of that door is your destiny. So move. While it's uncomfortable, while it's uncertain, move while your voice shakes. Because the man you want to become is not waiting in comfort. He is waiting on the other side of the thing you are scared to do. And on the other side of fear is greatness. Do not be deceived.